In the previous video, I mentioned that the kit, the detail upgrade kit that I'm using for this build, has the catapults as mirror images of each other, and that is incorrect. I did confirm with actual photos of USS Alabama, and they shouldn't be mirror images of each other. Unfortunately, the details for these catapults are designed for them to be as mirror images of each other. It is better to have a little bit of loss of detail rather than a very obviously wrong mirror image catapult setup. This means that I need to go through the process of debonding and then reconstructing these catapults. Since there are resin components on these catapults, using acetone to debond them is not an option because it will dissolve the resin. Fortunately, superglue debonder will not harm the resin, so I'm able to use that to eat through the majority of the superglue and debond the resin components. This is not a quick process, especially when you're working with components that have quite a lot of superglue on them. It tends to soften the glue quite quickly and turn it into this sort of sticky, globby mess, which can be pulled off with tweezers. But at this point, I'm okay with that. As long as I can just get these components to be separated from the resin components, I can then give the metal components an acetone bath, which will, over time, take care of all of the superglue. The other problem is that since I did use quite a lot of extra thin superglue here and had capillary action draw that glue underneath components, just applying debonder to the edges doesn't necessarily cause those components to fall apart. It does mean that I need to work with the knife to kind of get it underneath and pry things open after the superglue has been somewhat weakened by the debonder. Although the early stages of the disassembly are quite messy, fortunately it does come apart quite easily and I'm able to get everything separated and then get all the metal components into their acetone bath. After spending the night in acetone, it's as if these components have never seen superglue before, so I can reassemble the catapult, this time with the details facing down so that I do not get a mirror image of the other catapult. As before, the first step is to glue in place the central section of the platform. This time positioning it is a little bit more tricky because that dot, which was conveniently used to locate it correctly in the hole on the underside of the catapult, is now facing the wrong way, which means I don't have a tactile way to know when this platform is in the correct position. I just have to do it by eye and try as carefully as possible to get it into the correct position. Once again, during this process, I do apply quite a lot of extra thin superglue, so the excess needs to be removed with the rotary sanding tool. This time I am going about the installation in a slightly different way. The reason for that is because I'm concerned about how delicate the handrails on the platforms have become. Essentially, because they were folded in the opposite direction, now they have to be folded back past the midpoint where they started, all the way into the other direction, causing that metal to become significantly weaker. I want to handle the component as little as possible after those platforms are installed. This is why at this stage I then install the central resin core and glue it in place. It's just one less thing to do after the platforms with the handrails have been installed. Unfortunately, this is also the first of the catapults that I constructed, which means it's the one that doesn't have the little tab still stuck to the platforms. It is a little bit more tricky to glue them in place. I have to position them quite carefully, but I've done this a few times now and, well, practice makes perfect, so I get them into position fairly easily and bond them in place once again using extra thin superglue. After installing both sections of outer platform using the same method, then very carefully fold up the handrails. At this point, I'm really just going to consider it a win if the handrails just don't outright fall off. Miraculously, none of them actually did fall off, so I decided to not push my luck and actually just reinforce each of those connection points with a little bit of extra thin superglue. A small drop on the bottom of each of these stanchions is not going to be something that you're going to notice, and just having a little bit of superglue there to reinforce that now rather distressed joint is just going to provide that little bit of extra strength required to ensure that that handrail stays in place. Of course, on the upper sections of the handrail, I take every opportunity there is to brace the handrails off each other by bringing them in contact with each other and applying extra thin superglue. Somewhat surprisingly, during the whole debonding process, the majority of the details actually stayed in place, so I don't have to reinstall them. It's just really 2 of the support struts that fell off, and to reinstall them is trivial. Just apply a little bit of medium viscosity superglue to the back of the components, and then install them on the side of the catapult. That is the catapult done. That actually is the smallest of the corrections that I want to do in this video. The other correction that I'm going to do is correcting the color of the decks on the superstructure. When I built and painted this part of the ship, I used the painting guide that came with the model. Unfortunately, after looking at photos of USS Alabama in this camouflage scheme, it's clear that these light gray decks should actually be the same color as that lower deck, that dark sea blue color. This means that I now need to do some fairly elaborate masking to correct the color of these decks. Since there are a lot of decks on a lot of levels with a lot of details that need to be cleanly masked off, I'm going to do this in stages. I think it's going to be basically impossible for me to get a nice big single piece of masking tape in here to mask off a clean edge. I'm going to start with these thinner strips that I'll put along the base where I need that clean line, and then more loosely and somewhat haphazardly place larger pieces of masking tape on top of it with an overlap. That way I can get precision and good coverage at the same time. It's also become clear that there are certain components that I'm going to have to remove and then reinstall. These rails, even if I was happy with changing their color to be the same as the deck, it would still mess with the difference in color between the splinter shields, so I wouldn't be able to mask them off correctly. This means that I need to remove them. Fortunately, these components are only tacked in place in a few key locations, which means I can use the knife to snap them off and then cleanly remove them. This opens up the space for me to then put masking tape on the inside of these splinter shields. On some of these higher platforms here, it's also going to be tricky to mask them. These handrails also need to be taken care of. I don't want to get the color for the deck on the inside of the handrail, so I basically am going to treat them like splinter shields. This is also a very constrained space, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some overspray in some areas that I'm going to have to correct later on. I also expect that there are certain components that are just going to get knocked off because they're in the way. These booms at the top here on this observation platform, well, they're here for now, but I don't expect them to last much longer. Actually, when moving to this observation platform, I think this little structure for the main gun director, that's in the way. It needs to go even before I break off the booms. Fortunately, since this component was glued in place using superglue after these components had been painted, the bond is only as strong as the paint, but the paint bond is fairly strong, perhaps surprisingly strong, but I was able to snap it off. This at least means I don't have to try and mask around this structure and the ladders attached to it, just the perimeter of the splinter shield. With the first round of masking tape in place, spraying can begin. This is Mr. Color number 365, Sea Blue. Starting at the top, it's pretty easy to paint because, well, there's nothing obstructing me. But as I move down, it starts to become quite clear there are a lot of components in the way, and that does obstruct the airbrush quite a bit, especially the pot that sits on top of it. These booms, they're just in the way. Nevertheless, I try and work around them, and I try not to overspray. It is tricky, but I think I'm doing a fair job of it. Anyway, let's see how that worked out. After the first round of airbrushing, all the masking tape is removed, revealing what are hopefully nice clean edges without any overspray. That is wishful thinking. There are, as I expected, a few rough edges that need to be touched up. It's not worth remasking this area to try and airbrush it. Obviously, if I could easily airbrush this area, it would have worked already. So for those few cases where they look a little bit rough, I touch them up using a paintbrush. Fortunately, there aren't too many of those areas. For the areas where there's a little bit of overspray, I'm not going to touch that up now. I'm going to wait until I'm finished with painting the decks before I do all of the touch-ups to the overspray at the same time. With the first round of airbrushing and touch-ups complete, the next round of decks are masked off and the entire process is repeated again. As before, there are some areas that are a bit rough, so those are also touched up with the paintbrush, after which another round of masking tape is applied and the deck's painted with Mr. Color number 365. And then, for good measure, the entire process is repeated one last time. At this point, all the decks are in a fairly good condition, and they are at least the color that I want them to be, but there's now all that overspray that needs to be dealt with. Of all of the locations where there's overspray, the worst of it is on these bulkheads at the forward section of the superstructure, where there were holes in the deck from above and the paint came flying through and hit the superstructure. Fortunately, correcting this overspray is easy because there's only one color for the camouflage pattern in this area, Mr. Color number 308, the light gray. So I mask off the area and then spray over the overspray with Mr. Color number 308, light gray. While I have the light grey out, there are a few other areas to touch up, mostly on the upper sections of the superstructure around these platforms, which I knew would be difficult to spray around. Also, at this point, the booms at the top of the superstructure had long since been snapped off. This had left a small amount of superglue on the side of the superstructure that I wanted to remove, so I had sanded that off with the rotary sanding tool, and now I need to touch up the paintwork in that area so that when the booms are reinstalled, it doesn't have some ugly dot of superglue sitting randomly on the side of the superstructure. The vast majority of the overspray that I needed to deal with was on the light grey parts. There might have been some overspray onto the navy blue parts, but the colors are quite similar, so it's very difficult to see if that's the case. There was just one area where it was quite prevalent, but to correct that, just because of how everything was shaped, I actually didn't need to mask the area, so I just freely sprayed over it with navy blue. This is Mr. Color number 14. There were also a few other components that I removed or broke off while I was painting the decks, so I'm going to take the opportunity to correct the paint on them before I reattach them to the model. Most notably are the Bofors tubs at the aft of the superstructure. You know, those horrible ones that I'm always complaining about because I can't shape them correctly. Well, I'm at it again for them. This time though, I'm going to paint them first, after reshaping them again, and hopefully this time get them into a condition that I'm actually happy with. One of the tubs is very simple, it just needs to be painted in navy blue. The other tub sits in the camouflage pattern, so I tape off the light grey part and then repaint the navy blue part. With all the decks now in their correct color and all the overspray and components touched up, installation can begin. Going to the top of the superstructure, I reinstall the base of the rangefinder. Because of how the glue snapped off, there are actually little ridges underneath it, which means there's now a tactile way to position it correctly. Kind of just slots into place. To bond it in place, I apply medium viscosity superglue to the top of the platform, and then place the base onto the platform, feeling around to ensure that it is sitting in the correct position. Once it's in the correct position, it's quite obvious, so I just leave it to dry. Moving to the aft of the superstructure, the Bofors emplacements are reinstalled. This time they're fitting in quite a lot better. I'm happier with their shape and I'm happy with how the camouflage pattern lines. To glue them in place, I apply a small amount of medium viscosity superglue to one edge of the tub and then carefully lower it into position. Before the glue sets, I adjust the position of the tub to ensure that they are sitting symmetrical to each other and properly aligned with the deck. Moving slightly forward, flag locker. Yes, these aren't vents, they are flag lockers, and one of them did get knocked off. It also required a little bit of touch up because it got slightly oversprayed on. To install the flag locker, I apply medium viscosity superglue to the area where it needs to be placed and then place the flag locker on top of the superglue. Next up are the ammunition rings for the Bofors tubs. Installation of these rather delicate components is actually quite easy. They have convenient tabs which you can use to set them at the correct height above the deck. To bond them in place, all I need to do is apply a small amount of medium viscosity superglue to the tabs and then lower the rings into place. On the compass platform, to aid with the painting of the deck in that area, I had snapped off the ammunition crates. To reinstall them, it's simply a matter of applying a small amount of medium viscosity superglue to the underside of the crate and then placing it back in its correct location on the deck. Finally, it's the turn for the booms. These are the last of the components to be reinstalled. I install them in the exact same method that I did when I first installed them. I apply a small amount of medium viscosity superglue to the base of the boom and then put it in contact with the side of the observation platform. After a short amount of time, the glue has sufficiently set such that I can rotate the ship onto its side and let gravity pull the boom down into the correct position. After a short while, the glue has sufficiently set such that I can rotate the ship up into its normal orientation and not have the boom fall off. The same process is then repeated on the other side of the ship. Once the booms are securely bonded in place, there is a little bit of touch-up that needs to be done to the paint on that area, so I just airbrush over it with the respective colors. With that, the corrections are complete, so in the next video, I will construct the main gun directors. If you don't want to wait for the scheduled release of videos and want to watch them when they are uploaded, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. If you would like to support the channel, like and subscribe, and as always, questions are welcome in the comments. Thank you for watching. Cheers.